Welcome to the Summit Endless Podcast.
Welcome to the Noe Banks podcast.
Where summits are summiting and podcasts are podcasting.
There you go.
What's up, man? How was your week?
Oh, it was good. It was a good week. It went by fast.
Yeah?
Yeah. A lot of learning. Just so much to learn about phones. It's ridiculous. So much. But it's good. It's kind of cool. I'm trying to challenge myself in different ways now with this position.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's a lot of people that are younger in the office, and so I'm trying to not be a mentor, I guess, in that way, but set myself up for opportunities to mentor them potentially. So
right,
just working with them in different ways. I'm asking a ton of questions for them too. There's a lot of smart people around me that are able to help me out, and then I'm trying to help them in return when situations come up.
Right.
Just be a positive influence with them in the office.
There you go.
So, yeah, it's not. I'm not trying to make it my job, obviously, because it's not my job to manage them. But at the same time, just be as much of a team player as I can, and try to give them the experiences that I've learned. So it's it's. I'm trying to find opportunities like that where I can be helpful and just not overload myself too much with any other offices that maybe I don't need to work with. And then my manager gave me a list. So during orientation, they tell you to ask, talk to your manager and ask who are top 5 people that they would want you to meet in the company and see what they say. And so I asked him, and he gave me a list of 5 people to set up meetings with now in the future. So I'm looking forward to meeting them and learning more about them and the company and what they do with in their departments and stuff.
Nice.
So that's pretty cool. But yeah, man, it was a good week. It's nice to work from home on Thursdays or Fridays.
I bet.
Yeah. And then work from home tomorrow because of it being a holiday, but also we have this company orientation or training happening on Thursday.
Right.
So we have to be in the office for that, and they'll be home Friday, but it'd be nice to be home all day tomorrow. Allison flies out to Memphis tomorrow night. She's taking a red eye, so it'd be good to hang out with her all day. I haven't seen her all week. She's been in Wendover watching the family dogs.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Anything else happened this week? Oh, we went to ski joring yesterday. That was fun. That's a good time. Do you know what ski joring is? Have you heard of ski joring?
Mm-mm.
Ski joring it started in Colorado. We thought it started in Banff, Canada, but it's where snowboarders and skiers get pulled by horses. So you have a almost like a rope, tow line behind the horse, and they hold on and they just go over some obstacles, and then they put a ring up that they have to grab on the way down the course. And some of those guys haul ass. They go fast. Others are pretty slow and just get through it. But they have different divisions. There's a professional, amateur, and then beginner, stuff like that. And it's fun, man. You're just outside. It's a day thing from 10 to 5. And I got there right at 10 o'clock, and we got a VIP section right next to the fence, so you could be up close with the competitors and the staff. And it was just a beautiful day yesterday up in Heber. Trying to make that a annual thing to do every year. They have them all over the place too. Banff, we want to do it in Banff too. The cool thing about ski joring is that people really dress up for it. So the attire is fur coats, so people dress up in fur, and it's total Western. It's you threw a Western apparel box that just blew up, and everybody's wearing cowboy hats and everything. So it's a good time. We had 20 people show up ish, maybe somewhere around there. What else? Yeah, I think that's it. Just an easy week. Worked out.
That's cool, man.
No drama, which is nice. And it's also, I was telling my parents that I talk to them every Sunday, and I told them earlier, it's nice that I can actually go to work and then go home and not worry about work, because nobody has my cell phone to call me after hours or whatever the case is. And I can just forget about it after I clock out at 5 o'clock and not worry about it until the next day, because nobody's really worried about nobody's calling offices in between 5 p.m. and 8 a.m. So yeah, anyway, that's it. Yeah, that's the week though. How was yours?
It was good, man. Just adjusting.
Yeah,
I feel like I'm dying over here. Just how busy I am, man. They changed my daughter's basketball schedule, and so she has practice at 5 o'clock, and her skills training used to be Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, 4 to 5 o'clock. So it was okay, because I would run home, go to the gym, meet her at her training, and then I'd run basketball practice and come home, and we have the evening to make dinner and everything. And now it's I run home to go to the gym, and then I get out of the gym, and then I go get her and practice and trying to make dinner and everything while still making skills at 7. Then I come home and then I got to shower and wind down and try to go to bed, and it just ain't working, man. Like, I'm struggling to fall asleep, even though I'm tired. Like, I'm tired as hell, but I can't fall asleep. And so it's been good. Like, don't get me wrong, it's been good. I got help. I have another coach that joined me in basketball, so now there's two of us. So that'll take a little bit off of my plate, because like he can step in and I could take a breather for a second or whatever, and so I think only good things are gonna come from having him help me out. And then
nice.
My job it's good, but it's stressful, man. Like, so stressful. I have one client that is just
dogging you.
Feels like their job is to make my life hard.
Why? What's going on?
No, I don't want to go too much into it, because they're my client. I don't know if anybody will ever watch this, but
yeah. That's a good point.
They're just hard, man. Like they're just a hard client, and still being new, still learning, and there's just aspects of the job that I haven't really had to like focus on yet that I'm starting to have to focus on. So it's like exhausting in that way. But it's still good. It's just like, I can't wait till this one job's done, and then hopefully after that it'll help to where like I can focus on everything else. But yeah, man, I mean, other than that, it's good. Like, this week went by super fast. Like, I don't even really remember what happened this week, but outside of that, like, this weekend was good. Like Friday, gosh, dude, I don't even remember what we did on Friday. I don't think we did anything. I think we just ordered dinner and chilled. And then yesterday, Nikki had a basketball game, and she was a G on defense, struggled on offense again, but it's because they're learning a new offense. Like, I've never taught them an offense because I've been sort of researching, and like most of my research has been in defense. And now I'm like, all right, let's focus on offense. So now we're doing that, and I'm teaching them an offense. And so I think that has a little bit to do with the fact that, like yesterday was a rough game because they're trying to learn something new. And then we went to my nephew's game because he's only 6, and it's fun watching him. And then my other nephew, who's like a really good soccer player, has found this love for basketball. So he signed up to play on 3-on-3 junior jazz. And so it was cool to get to watch him play, and then we went over to my sister-in-law's and watched the Seahawks and the Niners game. And then today, dude, like, I trained my one client this morning, and then I've just been at home all day. Like, me and Nikki were supposed to go train, but she was like, Dad, I want breakfast. And just with how busy I've been, I was like, you know what? Cool. We don't have to go today. Like, we'll go next week. And so we did that. And so we just chilled today, watch football. Dude, I'm stuck in Bar Rescue. Like, I watch that show all the time. Like, that's my filler right now. Like, if there's nothing going on and I don't want to worry about nothing or have to focus on a TV show.
It's funny how we get sucked into these shows that are like just interesting enough to keep going, but not that interesting where you're not like glued or like, it's a good background music or background noise. But dude, I've been hooked in Landman. I don't know if you've seen any previous.
I've seen part of the first season. I haven't finished.
It's it's so how it goes. It's a good show. It's dramatic, whatever. But I like Tommy, the character in the show. He's pretty funny with his banter and wit, and like the constant complaining of like, God, why me? It's like his mentality, because shit just always happens.
Right.
But I'm finishing up the last episode of season 2. So it's pretty good. I also read a book this week, actually. I just remembered. It was a quick read. It's called You Deserve This Shit. And the writer, I can't remember the author's name right now off the top of my head, but he has an interesting voice in the book when you're reading through it. It's light. Like, he's got a few cuss words in there and whatnot, but it's just basically like kind of sums up all of the all of the like self-help books that I've read. Every chapter is basically from like a different book. And he mentions too, like, I read this from, for instance, to Tim Ferriss with his 4-Hour Work Week. He brings in some pointers from there and some other things. But he's traveled all over the world apparently and just learned these lessons from just being a traveler and applying it to who he is and what he does. He kind of like asked the same questions that I was asking in like my mid-20s or whatever. And so I think it's good for somebody who's like in their mid-20s, early 30s like me and us, like, trying to get things figured out in case we don't have things figured out yet, right? Like, it just asks really good questions of what you're into. One thing I've noticed actually, and this is not going to help roll into our topic we're going to talk about today, but I just thought about this the other day of like, and I've heard it more often too, is passion projects, of finding the money first and then focusing on the passion project second, which makes sense, right? That's kind of like a duh thing. But for some reason, like I always just thought that growing up, people always told us like chase your dreams, right? Like just make sure you're chasing your dreams. And like, yeah, that's a great like roo like rah rah like motivating thing to like, yeah, I want to chase my dreams. But then now I'm starting to hear, actually no, you got to chase the money first and then chase the dream, because you got to have the stability for it. So you got to do the thing you hate to do the thing you love later. In my mind, I always thought, and this is where I've kind of been chasing my tail, I guess. I always like wanted to chase the dream first and only. And like the dream, yeah, like coaching and whatnot would be the dream, but it's just I haven't focused on that money part. So I'm like kind of wondering, okay, where do I go from here? How do I get the money now? Because I'm tired. Like it's just, yeah, the goal is to make more money this year and really apply like what I've learned in the last 10 years of my career. Like, okay,
Mhm.
where do I go next? Like, what am I really good at? Like, what's the skill? Because I don't have I'm not great at building things like you are, right? Like you have a great carpentry skill and you have other skills too, right? But
Yeah.
that's one of those things like I'm just thinking, out loud and comparing. I don't have that skill. Like my dad has that skill. I love that you guys have like the carpentry skill and woodworking and stuff, because that's something you guys can like fall back on if you need to.
Yeah.
But like mine's people. Like I've been involved with people for so long. Like I know people and I
Right.
work with people. And so I'm like, okay, how do I make this advantageous to myself? Like how do I go to a like my either current employer, or if 6 months from now it just doesn't work out and I go somewhere else. So how do I get to that next level? So that's the only skill that I think I have, is that soft skill. One thing that I'm gonna go on a monologue right now, but one thing I was thinking about the other day too is, and this is kind of cycling through my head, because it's Steve, the other project managers from Rise.
Yeah.
He mentioned something to me a long time ago about personality hires, and I can't remember what we were talking about at the time, but just brought it up as a person, like a personality hire in the conversation. And I didn't think about what that meant until after the conversation, and I went and Googled it because I wanted to understand, okay, what does a personality hire mean to him,
Mhm.
compared to what the actual definition is. And like a personality hire in a sense is just, a person who has a good personality that gets along with everybody. And then that's pretty much it. Like that's all they
Yeah.
contribute to the team or whatever. And I'm like, okay, am I a fucking personality hire? Like, am I that kind of guy, right? Like, am I the person that's the person that I hire in companies where people are like, no, fuck this guy. Like, he's great to have around and all, but he doesn't do shit for us. Like, I'm not, of course, I'm not that, but I just started like kind of doubting like wondering what my actual skill is. And like, am I a personality hire?
Nah,
But
you're not, man.
yeah,
You're
yeah.
G. Don't sell yourself short. I won't let that shit happen.
No, I'm not gonna, that was just a rabbit hole I started digging into a while ago, and it still for some reason still cycles. But anyway, those are some new things that learned recently, I guess. And I guess been contemplating. We should start entering into the podcast, or like weekly thoughts. Like, what have you been thinking like throughout the week? You know what I mean? Like reflecting
Yeah.
back on those. Maybe that'd be another topic we could include as we catch up with each other week to week,
Yeah, I'm done with that, man.
because then that gives us something that we can learn, like something new about, or like we teach when we're teaching each other
Yeah.
something new. Yeah. So anyway, all right, back to the topic at hand. We're talking about mistakes today. What we've
Yep.
learned from our mistakes, and boy, have I made many. I have made so many mistakes in my life. Always forward momentum though. Like I'm a firm believer in the failing forward. I'm not I don't think I think if you're failing and you're still stuck at the same spot, then you're doing something wrong, obviously. But what comes to mind for you? Like, what's a mistake that you reflect on that you've learned the most from?
Ooh, one that I've learned the most from. Some people excuse me. Some people may not view it as a mistake. But I think for me and my purpose and what I want from life, it was definitely a mistake. And I think that biggest mistake was dropping out of college and going to work in trade shows, because I thought that that's what I had to do to make a good living for my family. And the reason I say that is just because I probably would be closer to where I wanted to be if I would have completed school. I could have looked into teaching, which is one thing that I've always just wanted to do. I've always just, I mean, you know me, I have a love for kids, man. I would love to be a teacher in a school. And so, looking back, it was like, damn, like I was halfway done. maybe even a little bit more than halfway. And it was like, I could have figured it out to where I still made time for my family, was there, could support them, and went to school. And I think like the biggest regret from that, or the biggest mistake from that, was just the fact that I got myself into this field where I had to work nonstop. And it was like that was the most important thing, right? Like working 7 days a week, working 16-hour shifts. And it's like how much time I lost from my family. And so that one, I still carry that. Like, I just because, I didn't want to be an absent husband or an absent father. And so now it's just, I'm clear and direct with what my expectations are, right? With Rise, I moved up into project management, hoping to have more time with my family. I sort of did, but then the expectation was still like way overboard. And so it was just like, nah, I'm out. You know what I mean? I told them, I warned them, I gave them every chance to fix it, but it was like, I'm not putting my job over my family. Sorry, I don't care. You can sell less clients and still make a lot of money, but you didn't care about that. You only cared about how much money was going into your pocket and the fact that I had no time with my family. So I'm out. And so, what I've learned from that is just like I have a line drawn in the sand for being with my family, because I only have so much time limited on this planet, right? And so I'm not going to take away from my time with them anymore, because at the end of the day, I saw this a long time ago. And it was just like, your job can decide one day they just don't want you anymore and they can cut you. Your family doesn't decide one day that they're just going to cut you. And it's like, that sort of sat with me. And it was like, it's true. Like, they don't care about me. I'm just a number to them, helping them get to a number, right? And so it's like, if that's the case, then okay, I'm going to go work for somewhere where maybe I'm a number, but maybe they have better ethics in the fact that, like, they want you to be with your family. They want you to have that time. And that's this job. That's what I found. Like, they are very understanding with family. Like, I've had to call in a couple of times just because of my daughter's asthma or my kids being sick, or I've had to leave early to go get them. Never a problem. Always. And the question that I always get from my manager, dude, every single time is, how can we help? Let us know if there's anything we can do to help. What? Like, I appreciate it, but that means so much, man. And so
yeah, that's really cool.
I think it's just a matter, that's probably the most recent one where it's just like that stuck with me, and it's sort of driven where my life is, right? It's driven how I coach. You know what I mean? Like, not being too hard on yourself. You don't have to devote every single waking moment to this item to be good at it. You know what I mean? Like, I tell my kid, or like with my basketball team, or with Nikki, we'll keep it simple. With Nikki, man, like, she'll be training all the time and I'll be like, you okay? She'll be like, I'm tired. And I'm like, all right, we're going to take a week off. Like, a week isn't going to change the trajectory of my daughter. Other coaches, other people may disagree, but nah, she's a kid. She needs to be a kid. Like, if she loves basketball that much and she goes 6 weeks where she's doing basketball 6 days a week, and she says, I need a break for a week, okay, you get a break. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, you need a break, just like we need to reset. We need to reset. We go on vacations. We do these things. They need to reset too. So yeah, I've just I've come to the conclusion that is where my, I'm freaking forgot the word, man.
You're good.
It starts with like your sense of direction for life.
Purpose?
Yes. My purpose is my family. I will work hard until the day that I die, but if it gets in the way of me being a father, a good husband, and being able to support my family, not just financially, but, mentally, emotionally, all those, nah, I'm out. I'll find a job that will, and so thankfully, like I said, this job's really good about it. So I feel pretty good right now because it's allowing me to have time to chase my dreams and doing this and doing Elevate, and it's allowing me time to, give to my family. And so it's more like inner reflection and just learning more about myself, like I didn't know that was my purpose back then, but like once I really got to sit down with myself, it was like, Nah, man, your purpose is your family. Your purpose isn't anything outside of that. You
Hmm.
know, like a lot of people find their purpose in work and everything, and that's fantastic. That's amazing that you found yours. That's where I found mine. And so,
Hmm.
yeah, I think that's the biggest thing that I've learned through that. You know what I mean? I don't think there's really anything else that I've really learned from it other than the fact that, you know, when I'm at work, I'm gonna work as hard as I can. When I'm at home, I'm a father and parent and husband the shit out of it, bro.
There
So
you go.
what about you?
I think mistakes that I've made is just like how I've treated people in the past. And I wasn't like an asshole to anybody. It's just I could have been better with certain people because you really just don't know when your friendships are like you're not expecting them to end anytime soon, obviously. But there's been a lot of relationships and friendships that I've had throughout the years that have come and gone. And I just kind of I guess this is like we're making it sound like they're more regrets than mistakes, but it just the mistake was that I just wasn't a better person for those people at the time and I could have done a better job. So basically learning from that is just everybody I have like my own goal, just mental goal of like being the nicest person I can be
Yep.
to everybody, no matter how long or short the interaction is, just try to be the nicest person I can be to them. And it goes beyond like, what people are feeling on their end. It's just, to always make sure the relationship's left on a good foot.
Right.
So that'd be a mistake that I made one too many times. Honestly, it was for selfish reasons though. I was being selfish and all over the place, and just didn't take the time to nurture the relationships or the friendships as much as I should have. But yeah, but now it's made me just really kind of be intentional with people and go beyond the ego of reaching out to them first, not waiting for them to say something. And that's like one of those things I sit and think about a lot is like, okay, if I could have gone back and changed anything, what would have I have changed? And it would have been that. I kind of like honestly too, just because it's like hindsight's 2020, but like changing my degree probably would have been better too. I think getting a psych degree was a mistake. Getting a business degree should have been better, like a better choice. But
Hmm.
because at the time, like I loved everything about psychology and thought that was the career I wanted to go. But I think if I had a moment where I could have just thought things through better instead of doing psych, I would have done business and or marketing somewhere along those lines, and I could have done a
Hmm.
psych minor and that would have worked out better down the road for me. But I mean, it is what it is. You live and learn, obviously, and now I'm trying to apply what I know from psychology to people in my daily interactions. And yeah, I know it's going to come in handy still, like eventually again, and that's where I'm trying to like refit like my purpose, like with the career aspect
Hmm.
of things. Like how can I be better about working with people and put myself in a position of use, to
Yeah.
do better. Like that's where I'm hoping like a management position will open up in 6 months and they see me as an ideal candidate for that position if that happens. And yeah, I mean, there's been plenty of other mistakes too, though I'm sure you've made throughout your careers. Is there anything that sticks out to you just job wise that you could have done better about and learn from, like communication or organization? Is there like a maybe that something like blew up in your face that you didn't realize you need to worry about? Because that happens to me where like being the account manager was an interesting position because like you had to be an account manager slash project manager slash we had to be an ID guy. And that's where we talked about this in a past episode. But being an I&D guy on the road, like you have so many things you have to think about.
Mhm.
And there mistakes are made on the road too. So like you got to figure out how to fix those mistakes. Like I learned how to apply cut vinyl to acrylic because I need to get it done. We forgot about it in the shop, and I had to run to a print store, pick it up, and this is in New York of all places too. And then I had to lay it after hours to make sure that it was done before the show opened. Like I'm not saying that the mistake was that it was forgotten about, but and it ends up being fixed. Anything coming to mind for you of a time that because that's I guess like I said that stuff happens to me a lot where I don't even think ahead of it. I just you have to react to it. And you're like, oh, now I know better.
I think as far as work, no, because I don't take the stuff from work to heart, right? So
No, but
I,
you learn though, like you do learn to be better at your job somehow,
yeah,
like
I think
proactiveness too.
maybe my biggest one would be just my communication. When I was younger, right? Like I was a little hot-headed and whatnot, and I had to learn not to be so hot-headed. And honestly, like where did that get you, right? Like
Mhm.
you got loud, you got angry, so people would hear you, but they only hear you for the moment. They don't hear you for a long time, right?
Yeah,
Because it goes
yeah,
away. where even at Ryzen now, it's sort of like I take the approach of questions all the time. Instead of anger, instead of being upset, it's like, why? What
Mhm.
caused this to happen? What could have been done differently, right? And it's not just them. Like, all right, what could you guys have done differently? What do you
Mhm.
see from your end that I could have done differently that would have helped you out more? Is there something I could have requested from sales or somebody else that could have helped you guys get through this a little bit more efficiently? And so now I take that approach. Like, I try not to really have a temper or get upset too much at work. Like, I get upset, but it's not like mad. It's more so just I got to deal with this today. Like, really, you know? And so I would say if anything from work that really sticks out, because like the other stuff, like minor mistakes that you learn from and whatnot, I typically like try to forget about the mistake and just forget about and remember what I'm learning, right?
Mhm.
Like, all right, let's focus on what to learn. You know, don't give that mistake too much power,
Mhm.
because then you sit on it and sit on it and sit on it, and then it causes hardships in other areas. And so that's a big one where I think it's also the area of work, right? Like when you're out in the shop and
Mhm.
whatnot, you have another kind of person, and you communicate differently. And being in the office, you have to learn, you know, you're seen a little bit more, and you have to act a little bit differently. And at the same time, you know, like would that person want you coming down on them? You know what I mean? How
Mhm.
would you feel if you were in that position and you made a mistake or you
Mhm.
did something? Nah, we don't need to yell at it about. We don't need to yell about it. We don't need to freak out about it. Just keep your cool. Let's talk about it. What can we do differently? All right,
Yeah.
don't let it happen again. You know, and that's sort of
Yeah.
my approach now. Is I just try to stay calm. If you're
Yeah.
calm, the other people typically will remain calm, and that brings a more productive conversation than,
Mhm.
you know, if it's the other way around. So
Yeah.
that that would probably be one for me. You hit me a little different on that one because I'm not even thinking about work mistakes, man. I was thinking about life and all this. So when you
No,
were
we
like
can.
work, I was like, oh man,
Oh,
you
you're
make me
good.
dig deep for this
No, you're all
one.
right. Sorry to put you on the spot there.
No, you're good. That's what we're here for. But I'm gonna put you on the spot. Tell me one about you.
So I made a mistake a long time ago where I forgot to send an email out or like push. I forgot to notify our shipping department that we needed to send kit supplies to an office that was somewhere in the US. I can't remember where. And it was like the day before or maybe the day of the event that they didn't have the supplies they needed to actually hold the event at the office. And I remember getting a call early in the morning, and luckily the office was okay. Like they weren't freaking out, but they're like, "Hey, we have staff here and we got nothing to like prick." It was basically like these needles that would prick your finger to check your blood, and then a bunch of other like paperwork and stuff. And I apologized, and my manager, like, it is a big deal because then I have to reschedule, and it's like on our dime to get it taken care of. um I realized like I didn't have the right procedures in place to like remind myself to send that email to the shipping team. So now I became like more proactive. And I also, this is just something that I think either, I don't know if I like learned it or if I'm just naturally like this, because I can't recall a time of like somebody gave me advice, but just being just the solution oriented kind of person naturally. So like with this issue of not being with the proactive communication to shipping and all that, I was like, okay, now I got to put this process in place. And I always come like even now, I'll just give a solution with the problem. All right, this is what happened. I made this mistake. I forgot this, but to fix it, this is what I'm going to do moving forward. These are the reminders I have in place, so on and so forth. So I always like would bring that up. And my manager was really cool. His name is Mike. He was really easygoing. And when I brought up the issue to him, he's like, "Cool, cool." It was like you get the. He's like, basically, you solved your own problem. He's like, I was going to ask you that question if you didn't have anything in mind already, but it seems like you're already ahead of it. I was like, yeah, because I don't like being embarrassed. Like I don't like feeling the embarrassment like professionally,
Yeah.
and I don't want to be caught off guard in that way. So like yeah, proactive communication's big. Being honest is huge. Like there have been times in my career where like you have to look accountability obviously, and just being upfront with the mistake, and being truthful of how it happened. And that was the one thing too, is like the last job, is how to articulate mistakes so in a way where it doesn't sound like a mistake. It sounds like something just came up, out of the
Yeah.
blue, and try to spin it where we were able to fix it and make it look good. But with this, even with this job here, like mistakes can be made so easily. Like the worst thing that could happen is an office would lose their phone number, right? Like you try to port it over too soon or too late and the number's gone. And that's like something that I'm doing my best to prevent, like in this new role. So I'm very mindful of how I'm doing this processes, so that way the office doesn't lose their phone number and nobody's going to freak out. Because I actually this week, it wasn't a mistake. Oh, here's the thing too. Let's talk about this as well. So like there was a mistake that wasn't made on my part, but I was just a part of the solution, and the office was freaking out at me because there was stuff that was going on behind the scenes that I wasn't aware of. And as far as their numbers, their phones weren't working for some reason. Like I tested a number out, the phones rang like when I tested their temp number. So from my end, everything was fine. They did this phone install. But like an hour later, one of the office managers calls me and she's freaking out. She's like, the phones aren't working. Why aren't they working? I was like, okay, well, the next solution would be to plug in your old phones. And she started getting like really impatient with me and was like, why is this an issue? Like, this shouldn't be an issue. What's going on? I was like, I honestly don't know. Let me try to figure out like what's going on my end. Mm-hmm. So I'm talking to her over the phone, and then she just loses her cool on me because she's just so frustrated and stressed out for whatever reason. She's taking it out on me, but I'm sure there's more to like just the phones, right? Like these phones are simple fixes. You just plug them in. There's not much to them, right? But she's just for some reason losing her mind. Turns out like when we get the phones plugged in, we always tell them, okay, now call your current provider, tell them you're setting up call forwarding, give them the temp number, you'll be good to go. Like it's super simple, right? It took us 4 hours to figure out what was going on. This office has an IT team, and the number they thought they had wasn't attached to the provider they thought. So it's like, say Spectrum is a provider. They thought it was Spectrum. It wasn't Spectrum. Instead, it was like AT&T. They call AT&T. AT&T's like, I don't have that number. And it's a different company that has that number now. So they're going, like they're chasing their own tail, trying to figure out who their actual phone provider is, which I don't have that information. I'm not the one that knows. So it's not like I can tell them. And I can tell them who owns the number, like on the back end. So like Bandwidth is a number provider. So I can see that, but I can't see like who actually owns it. But when there's doing that circle thing, like there's these problems that are on their end that I can't, they're out of my control. So the mistake was that the IT office had put their number on do not disturb. And when it hit do not disturb, it went to an answering service they have for after hours. That's another like company that answers the phone's form and records messages. And so it kept forwarding to that. And then once I found out that the IT team had on do not disturb, I was like, you got to turn that off. And then we got to go in again and fix it. Well, it kept going to the call, like the freaking after hours phone company for some reason. And all the boxes were checked on our end, except I looked at the last second, I looked at their lunch break. They had changed the time on their lunch break from like 12 to 1 to 3 to 4. And it was at that time now, like when we were trying to fix the problem. And I'm like, son of a gun. So I went back and changed it from 12 to 1, and the phone rang right through after I fixed it with IT. So it's like there's stuff that was out of my control that I didn't do to set myself up for failure. But it's just funny, like learning from other people's mistakes. Now I'm being very diligent on asking people who their provider is, so that way they get the receipt ahead of time. So that way we can get the number ported over accordingly. Like all of the stuff that I've learned, it's the only solution I can think of, like from honestly all this mistakes, is just proactiveness, like being as proactive as possible for anything. And that's where getting to the office early for me is so valuable, like just at least 10 minutes. So that way I can just do a quick like scan through what I've got coming up in the day, anything I need to be mindful about, and then trying to be as proactive as possible. It's difficult to be proactive though, because there are times where it's just like, it's so much effort to be as proactive, and like you're trying to catch all the mistakes. And there's gonna be times where it's like, okay, the proactiveness isn't useful. It's just like, it's draining. So I'm just going to react to it. Everybody's different. You know, if you want to be a reactive person, great. But people like in the customer service industry, I should say, like they appreciate proactiveness more than reactiveness, because it just is more professional, right? Like you're seen as on top of your shit. So I've learned those mistakes are the ones that came up really, was just like communication errors. There was a mistake. Like I'm actually was like thinking about this the other day, sales. Like I don't know. I'm not like a sales oriented kind of person, but I'm trying to be now. I'm trying to like be more mindful of it. I didn't understand discounts at first. I was like, discounts are stupid. And you should always, like, if you believe in the quality of the product, you should pay full price. And that was such a inflated like ego mindset to have. And now I'm like, we're kind of realizing that, because at the time I didn't think anything different. And I'm like, oh, discounts actually make a lot of sense. Like we should be discounting everything in sales, because you want to get your foot in the door that way with the customer. Right. And then like the negotiating power powers that be, you know, like it gives you another like more leverage. But I was thinking about like how cocky of me to not do that as just a relationship builder, because there was an office or not an office, there was a customer in the past where I was too like stern, and
Hmm.
it put the relationship on a rocky fort like foundation from the beginning. And I thought I was in the right. And then I realized now I'm like, oh, I was so wrong. Like I should not have had that mentality. And that's where now I'm like, okay, like aside from the discounts, it's more so the conversation that takes place to
Yeah.
build that relationship, right? I wasn't thinking about the conversation the right way. I was thinking about it like, well, if you want it, you're gonna pay for it. Like that's how it's gonna be. Instead of, oh yeah, no, let's try to work something out. I always thought it was a pain in the ass to like do discounts, I'm like, how cheap, you know? And that's such a bad thing to think of is, oh, how cheap. Like you're just we're deflating the value of what our product is by giving them a discount. That's ridiculous. And now I'm like, no, I that makes absolute sense. Like I don't know why I was thinking the way I was, but only because when I believe in something so much, it's like I don't want it to diminish. I don't want no value diminished from it. Like
Yep.
I want the full appreciation for what the product is, for the cost it's going to be at. Like the cost is a cost, and that's what it is. But I'm seeing how much we're discounting the phones and like the services at this new company. I'm like, oh wow, they're like doing steep discounts to help get these customers in to like buy the services, and that makes sense. I'm like, oh my gosh, like this is something now. Okay, I gotta apply this to future conversations if I do end up getting like a sales position per se in the future. I say that was a mistake recently, and so like that thought process was a mistake at least.
Yeah.
But
I
like
get
yeah,
I get it, man.
it's just like things. I'm learning everything. It's fun to learn things all over again in a different atmosphere, a different environment, and it's cool that so I can reflect on these things again. And now that I'm trying to like be a mentor per se in the office,
Hmm.
like I can take these lessons and help out these like junior 20 like these 25-year-olds or whatever 28-year-olds that are in the office and try to mentor them a bit.
Oh, I'm with you. When you said reflect, I'm just sitting here and I'm like, dude, if you can reflect, like you can learn so much. And it doesn't even
Yeah.
have to technically be a mistake, right? Like you
No,
can
of
just
course
learn how
not.
to
Yeah.
do it better. Like for me, one thing that I really sit on right now is just when I first became a parent, it was, nah, my kids are going to do it my way, how I
Mm-hmm.
say every single time, yada, 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 right? Like they don't know what's good for them. I
Mm-hmm.
do. And as I'm aging as a parent, I'm not like, I don't take that leap anymore. So, and just to give you an idea is Nikki has come to love basketball. She loves it. I feel like it's a part of her identity, like she's like, I play basketball. And so I I've been hesitant. Probably she goes to an elementary school here that's a charter school, and it goes all the way through high school. And they're a 1A school. Recruitment in 1A schools is not that big. So it's always been like, nah, she's going to transfer out and go somewhere else. That's what she's going to do. But then thinking about it, is like, I can't make that decision for her.
Right.
Like, is that really fair of me to make that decision for her? Like, she can still play basketball. And then, hopefully, even if she wants to stay at this school, hopefully she's good enough to where as at a 1A school, she still gets recruited, right? And the fact that she's going to continue to play club basketball, that helps her get seen and all this kind of stuff. So it's like, you know what, like I want her to do her. But we had this opportunity come up. One of the coaches, he teaches at Salt Lake Academy. Salt Lake Academy's high school is like set. They're over either included in the building or right next to it over by Rio Tinto, the practice facility where the rugby team plays and the soccer team trains.
Mm-hmm.
So they're over there. Well, they bought an old school here in Harriman and they turned it into a K through 8.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, Nikki, you should come to this school because they do academics and sports. Sports is a part of your curriculum. Soccer, they're a huge soccer school. So they have soccer, yada, yada, yada. And I'm like, all right, that's cool. She doesn't care about soccer. She wants to play basketball. And they have a basketball team too. And even though they're still newer, they're working on building up that program. And so it was like, all right, So I talked to my wife about it, and I'm like, like maybe this is a good idea if they're good with academics, right? Because we could send her there. She gets more training for basketball, what she loves, and
Mhm.
she still gets good education. So I talked to the coach, and I'm like, I want to come do a tour. He's like, all right, come Friday at noon. And I'm like, you know what, Nikki, do you want to go do this tour? Like, you're going to go to school there. She's like, yeah. So I'm like, all right. So I go get her and we go to it. This is where the kid comes in there. She's like, they don't have a dress code. And he's like, no. And she's like, I want to come here, Dad. I want to come here. And I'm like, you got to
Yeah,
listen to the rest of the stuff. We got to see the rest of the stuff.
she's already sold.
Yeah. And so we're walking through. And so I asked him, I'm like, hey, is there going to be as big of uh like, is basketball going to be as big as soccer, or is it just going to be like the influence of soccer and basketball sort of aside, because that doesn't work for us?
Mhm.
And he's like, no, the goal is to have basketball be just as big as well. And so it's like, okay, like I could see this because they have so many classes a day, and then they have like a couple of classes where she would go with basketball coaches and be able to do the thing.
Oh, that's cool.
And then as a thing, like, if I, for one, I could coach there, and then two, like, I don't need an education per se to like teach there. And what I mean by that is, like, I could be the strength and conditioning coach. I'm not a teacher, I'm a
Mhm.
coach, but I have classes throughout the day where I do strength and conditioning with the kids at, 6th through 8th grade.
Oh, cool.
And so it was like, oh,
It's an
and
option.
then,
Yeah.
yeah. And then on top of that, if you bring kids to the school, they allow you to use the facilities to train and do,
Oh, okay. Oh, even better.
extracurriculars
Yeah.
outside of school hours. And so it was like, oh, well, hold on, maybe. But I had to put myself aside because it was like, all
Yeah.
right, that would be
Yeah.
cool for me. But like, what's Nikki really? Like,
Yeah.
what's in it for Nikki? And so me and Marquis talked a little bit, and I think we're gonna give it a year. Like, she was like down and ready to go, but at the same time, it's like, hold on, like, this school, it's their first year. I don't know what's really to come of it. I trust the coach. Like, he's actually asked about being on our podcast. He's
Oh, yeah.
amazing, dude. He is an
Yeah.
amazing human being, and I fucking love him. He's
Okay.
awesome.
Yeah, we need to start having people on soon. So yeah, that'd be cool. Let's have them on.
So I trust him. I trust his judgment. Like, his kid goes to that school, and but at the same time, I'm just like, I want to give it a year. It's not him, it's the school. Like, how do I know that that school's really going to be built for success or anything in their first year? Like, I need a couple of years under their belt to see, like, what have you done as far as academics for these kids? What are you doing as far as like sports for these kids, and then we'll see about jumping into it. But, like, the biggest thing that I'm taking away from this is I allow myself, just from past, I would say, their mistakes of being like, this is how it's going to be, yada, 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 right? Because, like, that's how we were taught. Like, parents are like, I know best. I make the decision. You do what I say, right? And it's like,
yeah.
Well, time out. Like, I feel like I'm sort of like pushing back against the mold, right? Where it's like, nah, time out. I don't care that I'm the adult. She has to live it. So her opinion matters. And honestly, Nikki's mature enough. Like, I would say, and this is, don't get me, I'm not saying like, oh, trust her with the world, but
Yeah.
to have a fourth grader that probably has the maturity of like a sixth or seventh grader already.
Yeah.
Like, that's pretty big. So it's
Yeah.
like, I'm going to trust her and her judgment. So when we went, she really liked the school. And she was like, Dad, I want to finish out school where I'm at for the year, and then we'll move. And I'm like, well, I like that idea. I wouldn't want to move you in the middle. And that was all from her. I didn't influence that. She was like, so I don't want to move in the middle of the year. Can I move after the year's over? And it was like, you know what? That I love. And so I think it's just more what I'm learning, and what I'm taking away from this is, I think that I myself, and probably more so my wife, have raised a really good, smart individual.
Yeah.
And it's like, I can trust her judgment and what she thinks is best to an extent, right? Like, I don't have to sit there and be like, nah, I have to make every decision. It's like, all right, what do you want to do?
Yeah.
Like, this is what can happen from it. This is what can happen if you don't go. What are your thoughts? And let her make her decision, because at the same time, now she's learning decision making, right? 9 years old, and she's going to learn, like, hey, if I do this, because this is one thing she does know from dad, if you choose this, you don't get to quit and turn around. You have
Right.
to see it through. Because like one of her questions was, Dad, if I go there and I don't like it, can I go back to my old school? And I was like, not guaranteed, because we'd have to put you in a lottery. I don't know if you'd get back in. And she was like, ooh, I don't know then. And I'm like, yeah, see, we got to think about it. I was like, I got your back no matter what. Let's think about what we're going to do.
Yeah.
I was like, I'll do my research to help you, because there are some things that I'm going to know that you don't know.
Yeah.
But as far as your feelings and what you think is best for you, like, I want to hear that. Like, do you want to go to a school that provides academics and lets you train basketball? All right, let me look into it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And so
that's cool.
So I think just learning a little bit of freedom and a little bit of decision making should be given, right? And I'm going to allow that and see what happens. You know what I mean? Part of being a kid, we can fix it as a kid. It's when you become an adult when it's like, if I make this decision, can I go back?
Right.
How do I fix it if it's the wrong one?
That's like just going from job to job. Those can be mistakes that people make too, is when they go from one job to the next thinking that the grass is greener on the other side. It's really not, and then hopefully they left with a good recommendation. They can go back, because that happens. People go back to an older job because they thought the next one was a better opportunity, and it wasn't. That's where leaving your previous employer on good terms comes in handy, so that way you can go back when you need to if that comes up.
We're going to get a little off topic, because I'm going to ask you if I can battle you on this for a second. I think recommendations are bullshit.
From like an employer or from?
Yep.
Yeah.
Because honestly, think about it, right?
Huh?
The employee holds all the weight. If you do something wrong and you go say, or like if a company does something wrong, right? And you tell the company you're interviewing with about the wrongs that company made, it looks bad on you.
Yeah.
But if that company doesn't give you a good review, that's bad on you. But why? You know what I mean? What if you truly, and this is where maybe this is just a learning opportunity. Because for me, it's like, what if Shane worked at the company, he did amazing. He was respected by his peers, but a couple of people just didn't like the way that he did things. And he goes and he thinks he has a good recommendation based on his peers. But then you have a couple of people, and those are the people that job gets a hold of. And now you don't get that job because of them. I think that's bullshit. It should be judged based on our conversation.
Yeah, I can see where you're going with this. And I think realistically, that's why when they're asking for 3 recommends, you give them the 3 that you want, the best represent you, right? Like,
yeah,
I put you down as a reference. You put me down as a reference. I'd put down whoever else. But yeah, you're right. Like, that, I think it is BS, but also to kind of spin it, like, you need backup. You need to have some foundation for you if you're going to spit out like, oh, I have these skill, like this skill set. If I have these numbers, then like my recommends or my referrals should be able to back that up for me when they do call them and say, hey, did this person actually perform at this level or not?
Yeah.
And then they can say yes or no. But honestly, I don't even think they call anymore. I don't think they call referrals anymore. For government jobs, though, they do.
Mm-hmm.
So I had actually an old coworker that used to work at Rise. She works for Northrop Grumman right now. She was like the first PM underneath Andrew, or even AM, junior AM. But after COVID, she went and worked for Northrop Grumman. She got like a business degree, and she was moving up into the position. The FBI they were doing a background check on her, and so they called Andrew and I to talk about who she was as a coworker and get those references. But I don't think they do. Like, it's just a normal business. I don't think they do references anymore.
When you were talking about it, I was like, it's probably not as prominent anymore, because I remember in my younger days, like, it wasn't even about like the 3 references that you had. They would call the company.
Yeah,
they're not calling your references.
Yes. Yeah.
Whereas now, I don't think as much is put into that. Like, no, I hardly ever get reference calls. I don't think there have been many that have gone out on my end either.
You can select that option to not contact the current company you're at, too, right? So like, they have that. They do ask, can we contact the company for referrals or whatever? And you can mark it no. And I've always marked them no. Nothing's happened. I think LinkedIn has changed the game so much for that aspect of recruiting that. I mean, you have to put your LinkedIn profile it's almost like a mandatory thing for most applications now. They want to look at your LinkedIn profile, and then sometimes they'll even go into your social media. Like, my dad He always warns like my sister and I, like, be careful what you post, because his employer goes through Instagrams and Facebooks, and they'll, I'm not saying they'll judge, but they're definitely looking at what your character is and to see what kind of person you are on social
Just don't
media.
go back like years.
Right. Yeah.
You know,
Well,
if you keep it within 5, we're good.
right. Yeah. If you go back to yesterday, it might be questionable.
Sorry, that was a
You're
quick
good.
side note.
No,
You
you're
brought it
good.
up and I was like, man, bing, like
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
freaking hate that because like I get it. I can see the other side, but there's like just part of me where it's like, you have two people that you don't know.
Right.
And because that one is a business, you trust them more than the person that's in front
Yeah.
of you.
Yeah.
And so I was like, all right, I want to hear somebody else's perspective on that. So I'm glad you gave it to me, man.
Yeah, I can see that being like a downfall of using references, and that's how it was, probably up until, again, I think like LinkedIn, before LinkedIn really blew up to what it was. You would call around and get like background checks on people just by like talking to their coworkers or their bosses, their managers, and making sure that they were the right fit, because that's really important. And now that information is just so easily accessible, you don't have to call people anymore. You literally will just look up your profile and see, does this person have legitimate experience or not, and then even question them about it. Because I've never, like, during interviews, like all the interviews I had last year, none of them brought up my LinkedIn experience. All the questions, of course, are framed around the position and what you're going to be doing and how you're going to react. So a lot of the questions I got were just like book of business questions, and then what kind of account manager I was, and like communication, responsibility, accountability, like all those stuff, right? Like, that's all they really care about. And
that seems pretty typical now.
Yeah, and I think if they really wanted to give you, like, so for instance, actually, I'm sure for a higher up position, there's probably more background checks, because like CEOs, like C-suite level positions, even sometimes some like senior VP positions, they'll take months, like weeks to months, to hire somebody, and they will do, like, they'll call recommends or references, or like they'll want to talk about projects that you worked on in the past with other people, so they can get a feel for like what kind of person you are. I know that I'm pretty sure up the chain you'll get more reference. Like my dad, I think he had to list his references, and they did call him. And when everybody's in the trade show world, it's like he kind of knows somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody, and they all end up knowing him. So like, oh yeah, no, Steve's great. Like, he can do this and all that stuff. So it's like, it was really easy for him to get those references taken care of. But I'm pretty sure, it would make a lot more sense for like the higher up positions to be referenced, right? Because there's more responsibility in those ones. Yeah, for like a low level employee, you're not gonna get those. They're like, we don't care, just fill this position. Like, just get the job done.
Basically, we try.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's a good question though. I mean, it's a good thought to have, and like just the whole job recruiting world in general is just insane too.
Agreed. I want to bring it back for one last question. Where you're at now, and let's say where you were 10 years ago.
Yeah.
How you mistakes differently?
So I used to be really hard on myself. I would beat the hell out of myself if I made a mistake, because I just felt like, again, the embarrassment, the foolishness. I didn't like the way I felt when I made a mistake, because I wanted to be seen almost as perfect. I'll just say that. Like, I want to be the perfect employee, the perfect coworker, all that stuff. So when I made mistakes in the past, I would beat myself up, and I would just let it linger and sit, and it would take me like a week or so to get over it, because I would just sit there and just think and think and think, which kind of plays into what's going on in my head now. Like, currently, I just ruminate over things.
Yeah.
But I would do that. And like now, like I ruminate over different things. I'm not beating myself up. Whenever mistakes happen, I'll be like, all right, made a mistake. Because what I've learned is that everything's fixable. And I was just telling my parents this earlier too. It's just, everything is fixable. Everything's fixable. It's an inconvenience when things go wrong. Like, it sucks. Like, that's annoying. And that's where I was talking about these offices, like these office managers. Like, if they're stressed, like, and they're taking it out on me, like, I get it. Like, phones are important to business. They need to have a way of communication to their customers. And when phone lines go down, they're losing customers, or like their patients are being frustrated with them, and they don't want that, right? Like, you don't want, like, shit rolls downhill. You basically don't want them to have that moment. So I'm trying to be as helpful as I can and understanding and being empathetic with the office, but I'm also trying to like kind of coach them in a way of like, it's fixable. Like, it's okay. Like, I'm gonna be the calm in the storm for you. Like, yeah, their phone lines are down, but we can fix this. Like, if it's a problem I have control over, we're gonna fix this issue. And if I made a mistake, I'm taking accountability over it. I'm fixing it. And I'm not sitting there ruminating over the mistake. I'm thinking about how it happened, and then I'm gonna think about other potential ways it could happen again, and try to mediate or reduce the amount of ways that could happen. And between now and then and how I was and how I am now, and I'm not beating myself up too much anymore. I'm not digging myself in these holes. Yeah, like when I was 22 and just jumping into things, there'd be times I just like early would sit there and just be like upset over the mistake I made and be like, wow, why was I so dumb? Like, why was I so foolish? That was ridiculous of me to do that or to forget about it or whatever the case was. And I would take it as like a personal hit
Mhm.
and then take me forever to move on from it. And same thing, like I think it stemmed from swimming, honestly, because swimming like technique matters so much. And if I didn't get the time I wanted, or if I accidentally missed a turn somehow, or whatever the case was, I didn't have that moment back. And so I would sit there and just think like, damn, if only things were different, I could have won that race. I could have swum a little bit faster, whatever the case was. And I sat there thinking, I think that's what happened is the rumination started. We're having a therapy session now. The rumination started from those moments because I wanted those moments back that I
Mhm.
lost. And I would just sit there and just replay, and I wouldn't move on from it until the next race happened. And once the next race happened and I was able to fix the mistakes in the next race, all right, done thinking about it, moving on, right? And now in life, it's like, yeah, you have opportunities to come up again where you made a mistake and the next opportunity may not show up for days, weeks, months, years, who knows, right?
Mhm.
So I would sit there and I'd think about it, but now I'm realized like, and between now and then, it's just like, it doesn't matter. Like, okay, the mistake was made, you learn from it, you know how to be, like I said, proactive. The proactiveness is essential. That's where I've learned to be proactive and try to get ahead of the game as much as possible. And I'm asking the right questions. Just always make sure you like, I asked the right questions in the past, but even asking better questions. How can I, and I always start with stupid questions first. And I know they're dumb. Like I want simple because I want them to just like what happens is, and this is at least from what I've learned, it primes your brain when you ask a simple question first. So then you can start the snowball effect of asking the better questions later once you understand the simplicity of what you're trying to do. And then once it's all about fundamentals, right? Fundamentals are important. And I think that's another part of mistakes and learning from them is establishing the fundamentals of what's important to you as an employee and like your time management is what you really care about because you want to be with your family. And so you've learned how to manage your time well. Like you said this earlier, you're exhausted because you have so much going on, but you know how to manage your calendar well and you're on top of that. I feel like that's something probably you've learned, you know, I'm not trying to speak for you, but that's just something I
No,
noticed, you know, like, is that you're very well, time management is like a crucial thing in your life and you've done it damn near perfect so far, you know, keeping track of
I
all your kids'
appreciate you,
activities.
man.
So uh, yeah, that's what I would say I've learned the last 10 years. What about you?
It's been, I went from one end of the spectrum to the other, man. Like, it's more than 10 years ago, what, probably around 20 years ago, 15 to 20 years ago. If I made a mistake, man, I would try to find the hole. Be like, it
Oh
ain't my
yeah.
fault because of this, right?
Oh yeah.
And I tried to deflect it because it was just like, I'm just a screw up, right? And I already had this mentality from my early childhood that I was already a screw up. So it was like, I can't let this get to me.
Yeah.
And then it turned into like I would just let it get to me. And I was like you, dude. It took me over. That's all I would think about. My performance would go down. I'm getting fired. This and that.
Right.
I'd be mad. And it was
Yeah.
almost like I would give up, right? Like
Yeah.
I'll get time to find another job or do something different, get into a new relationship, whatever it may be, right? And then now it's more so of just like, hey, shit happens. It's
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
even if it was a mistake because I didn't do something, guess what? It's okay. We're not all perfect all the time. And I think that's where I'm at. And that's where I'm most comfortable with. And that's what I try to push out to everybody because I do feel like there is this stigma of like, don't make mistakes, don't make mistakes. In the work world, I feel like it's still that way.
Yeah.
People do not like mistakes. And it's like, guess what? You don't have to like them. They're going to happen.
Yeah.
Learn how to deal with them, learn how to make them a learning moment. And I feel like as a parent, same thing, right? They're gonna make mistakes. What am I supposed to do? Just like beat them down to the ground because they
Right.
made a mistake? So now it's like if it's a mistake out of like stupidity, it's like, come on, what were you doing? If it's a
Yeah.
mistake out of lack of knowledge, it's like, all right, I hear you. What can we do to help you?
Yeah.
What can I do to help you? Or what, at work, what can I do to help you? At home, what
Right.
can I do to help you? The way I help my wife is, I don't know. I'm not a therapist. I can't do what she does, man. So it's like I just try to be a listening ear and maybe point out things that I would do, even though I don't know what she's doing. It's like, well, this is how I would handle this situation, right? Like, just if she's stressed out, about herself and whatnot. It's like, hey, this is what I would do.
Yeah.
And typically when I do that, it's like I'm not trying to tell you what to do because I can't do what you do, but this is how I'm gonna work my way through it. Hopefully it helps you.
Yeah.
And so it's more so that, man. I just
Which is what we're doing on this podcast too, by the way.
yeah. I think there's two. I feel like in the past, and maybe it's not that way anymore, and maybe it is in some places, but I feel like mistakes carry too much weight. I really do. You know, if you make a mistake, people want to say, oh, you're on the chopping block. I think me and you both understand that. And
So
you know,
let's talk about. I like that you're talking about this. Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you.
you're good.
The Patriots and Seahawks Super Bowl from forever ago, the one that Marshawn Lynch was in, and they passed the ball, and Patriots. Yeah, you know that play I'm
Yep.
talking about. So that's like, let's take that for instance as the mistake. So everybody's the book I was reading. It's called Thinking in Bets. It brings it up of it's talking about the statistics side of it. Of there was a higher probability of Seahawks scoring a touchdown with that play in particular. It had like an 88% chance of success because they've done it so many times. Like they knew that.
Hmm.
That's why they called it. Everybody's like, you were literally on the 1 yard line and you should have gave it to like a running back to get into the end zone. Like, why you had the best running back in the league? Why didn't you do it? And the book is like describing the two outcomes. Okay, imagine they did catch that pass, right? And then they got the touchdown, they won the game. Everybody would have been talking about how crazy of a play that would have been to make,
Hmm.
right? Like the success of it and all that stuff. And instead, because of the interception, they're like, that's the biggest mistake the Seahawks will ever have. It's going to ruin their dynasty now, wherever they were talking about. Even Pete Carroll is he'll make jokes about just it being the biggest mistake that but he was making the right play call. That's
Yeah.
the thing is like you can do everything right, and then a mistake is going to happen. Something's going to happen that's out of your control that is going to set you back. And that's
Yep.
where I'm thinking of things of like, okay, an inconvenience. Like it's such an inconvenience. And in that case, like he can't get that play back again. You know what I mean? Like
Nope.
I'm sure he's like, shit, I wish I ran the ball instead of passed
Yeah.
it, but they just had a higher probability. And I don't know, like to me, running the ball, passing the ball, whatever. Like it was a risky move. You could run the ball in, and maybe Marshawn would have gotten the ball punched out from underneath him, and it could have been a fumble on the 1 yard line. Still, like same outcome, right? They would have said don't pass, like don't run him, like pass the ball next time or whatever the case is. So like there's always an excuse for something when a mistake pops up. But I just thought of that of like imagine you don't have that opportunity again, right? Like,
Yeah.
and this is where I was thinking about sports like earlier. It's like we do have those opportunities again. Like we do have those moments, and I think you're absolutely right that we do allow mistakes to carry more weight than they should. I think that just as a people, we carry the weight of mistakes because we want to see ourselves as better than we're comparing ourselves as better to other people. It's like
Yeah.
when somebody else makes a mistake, like what an idiot, or like whatever the case is. Like I wouldn't make that mistake. So that's why I think we give the mistakes the weight because of the way we compare ourselves to others when they make those like either similar mistakes or whatever the case is.
And that's where I think my lived experience, right?
Yeah.
That's where it's changed my perspective. Cause like now, back in the day, if somebody made a mistake, you're damn right, you freaking idiot,
Yeah.
Now it's just like, you know what?
It's okay.
What can you do? I mean, unless the mistake is like life changing or
Right. Yeah.
negative, right? Like
Yeah.
something bad, then
Yeah.
I don't give you grace. But if it's in basketball, I should have played this player. All right, do it next time. It's
Yeah.
okay. We have all the time in the world. I should have made this decision at work. That's okay.
Yeah.
Now you know next time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like why?
Yeah.
Why do I need to drag this person through the mud? Because every single person, unless you think differently, every person already takes accountability in some kind of way or feels bad or something for making that mistake. That's bad enough.
Yeah.
Like, how can I help them through it?
Yeah.
Right? Like, we don't need to sit there and allow these mistakes to change somebody's life. You know what I mean? Like talking about like workforce, like, oh, he made this mistake. I got to let him go. Why?
Yeah.
Like, why not give him the opportunity to learn from that mistake and try not to have it happen again?
Yeah. Luckily, people aren't like quick to jump the gun on that one. Like when
some
that
people,
happens. That's
there
true.
are
It
some
depends on the
areas that
manager.
we don't know about that
Yeah.
they don't care, man. You make one
Yeah.
mistake, you're done.
Yeah. There are those moments too.
And so that's where I'm sort of like, Well, and I guess what I'm saying with the pressure too is just me and you have both experienced it where like a mistake had been made and then it's like, oh, you guys got to watch your back. And it's like, why?
Yeah,
Really?
that was a bunch of BS.
Yeah. And so it's just like, you know what? It is what it is. Like, I'm going to do my thing. I'm always going to try to get better. And hopefully that the people around me know that, hey, I made this mistake, but I'm going to do the best I can not to make that mistake again.
Right.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna I'm gonna try to correct that one. Another one might pop up, but I'll try to
Yeah.
correct that one too. Like,
Yeah.
let's not let them define us, man. How you rebound from a mistake is how you should be defined.
Exactly.
So
That's a
that's
good.
my little 2
I was
cents.
gonna say, I think that's a good stopping point too. That was a good message to
Be a
send out.
goldfish, bro.
Yeah, I was just watching the first episode again. Yeah, or it's not episode 2. Yeah, he literally just said that to Sam. It's
Yep,
hilarious. Yeah,
I got you, bro.
I missed it. You talked about it last weekend, and I was like, oh, today feels like a good Coach Lasso day. So I plugged it in again and got through the first episode. I was like, man, I missed the show. Wish there was at least 6 seasons, not 3.
I know it's so great, dude.
Yeah, yeah.
But
Cool.
yeah, I
Man.
think that's a good stopping point too.
Any more final thoughts before we cancel?
You guys listening, hope you guys have a great week. And don't let your
Yeah.
mistakes define you.
No,
How
absolutely
you
not.
bounce back from them. That's what
Exactly.
should define you.
There's actually, this is gonna be fun. If you guys want to listen to a fun song, it's called Bounce Back, and it's from a movie called Always Be My Maybe. I looked it up. It's on Spotify and Apple. It is funny. It's the actor. He plays a rapper. He's
Is this the one where he's in the band and she's a cook?
Yes.
I freaking love that movie, bro.
Yeah. And he fights Keanu Reeves, and so he has a song about fighting Keanu Reeves too. And he's like talking about John Wick. Yeah. So it's an actual song that he made, and it's great. It's hilarious. So yeah, if you guys are ever looking for a fun motivational song, listen to let me look it up real quick. Bounce Back. Goodness, where's it at? And it takes.
I know.
And bounce back like a basketball. Bounce back like a tennis ball. Bounce back like a what do you say? Like a volleyball. He's bounced back like any other ball but a football. It's so funny. I'm gonna try to find it. Hold on, sorry. I'm like digging through it. What's a quote that you always keep in mind that like you think about or reflect on often?
Be curious, not judgmental.
Yeah. My manager has that on his desk.
Dude, I couldn't tell you how much Ted Lasso has influenced my life, bro. Legitimately, just I love him as a coach. I love him as a human being, and just seeing the positive impact and like being like honestly that quote being curious instead of judgmental, man. Like I used to judge people based on like what I saw without like getting to know them, and it was like, dude, you have a point. And now that I've like let that part of me subside and I'm curious and I ask questions and I'm just seeking information, like I get a different outlook on people. Don't get me wrong, there's times where I still judge and I gotta get better, but we all can always get better.
Yeah, that happens. Yeah, I like that quote. That's a good one. All right, I found the song. Let me play it really quick. Just wait a second. Can you hear it? Can you hear it?
No.
Oh man. All right. Well, it's called Tennis Ball, and the band is Hello Peril. Yeah,
Tennis ball.
Tennis Ball.
Don't forget it. Check it out.
Yeah, check it out. All right.
You got anything else you want to? Jinx, you owe me a Coke, by the way, because we said that at the same time. So anything else? You good?
No, just bounce back like you were saying.
All right. You guys have a great week.
Yeah. See you guys.